Hello everybody, we're going to get straight into the schizo post that is this video, and we're going to talk about the captain, or Capitano, or the captain, the number one Fatui Harbinger versus the Pyro Archon. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the Natlan story. Don't watch this video because this is huge spoilers. We're literally going to go over the cutscene here in a second, but the captain, the number one Fatui Harbinger, and the Pyro Archon fought each other yesterday, as of today, in a cutscene. And what's interesting about the captain, okay, that made me start thinking, is this dude the Cryo Dragon? Okay, earlier in this cutscene, we see him summon a sword of pure cryo elemental energy. This sword is pure cryo. Now, I don't think this is the work of a delusion or anything like that, because in a dev live stream for 5.0, they kind of asked like a fan question, and the fan question was along the lines of like, hey, you know, how does this guy who's wearing all this armor and who has a mask surviving in the heat in Natlan? And the devs were like, due to things that we can't really explain, there is a reason why he doesn't have to worry about that, because he's the Cryo Dragon. Okay, now let's slow down a little bit. Maybe he's not the Cryo Dragon. Maybe he has a Cryo Delusion. But the reason why I don't think he has a Cryo Delusion is because I feel like the devs would just tell us if he had a Cryo Delusion. Like, delusions at this point are very commonplace, that they're just like not that cool. Like, Arlecchino has, if I'm not mistaken, a Pyro Delusion, but it wasn't really that massive because she literally has Pyro imbued in her. Like, she is Pyro. And she has like the blood moon, the blood fire stuff going on. So like when we found out that she had a Pyro Delusion, it's kind of like whatever, right? I don't think this is the work of a delusion or a vision. I think this is the work of an actual sovereign, or the power of the Gnosis, okay? Because later on in this fight, right, super cool shot of the captain, and we're going to talk about this little scaling pattern. I think this has to do with my theory of him being the Cryo Dragon or adjacent to that. Right around here, he does a flip and he ignites a cryo aura around him, similar to what happens with the archons. When the archons in game use their elemental powers, their hair glows, right? Whenever, I guess not Nahida, but her little like leaf thing glows. Whenever Neuvillette uses his dragon sovereign powers, his hair glows, and so does he. He gets like these little dragon tail things coming out of him, right? We know what Neuvillette looks like when he's in his hydro beam form, okay? I feel like this is a very similar situation, that this is the Cryo Dragon. This is what the Cryo Dragon looks like when he's like fully powered up, when he's fully using his sovereign powers. I don't think this is the work of a delusion. It looks so different. It looks so different from anything we've ever seen. And I started thinking, like, what if this is primordial? Like, this is a primordial cryo energy. This is the end, the cryo of the gods, right? And so that's why I was like, yeah, you know, he probably is the Cryo Dragon. Okay, so they start fighting, they keep fighting, blah, blah, blah. You know, he loses, understandable. I mean, if he is the Cryo Dragon, he is fighting against the God of War, or the Pyro God of War. So, you know, it makes sense for them to basically be on an even playing field. Like, Capitano lost, but the Pyro Archon, like, really couldn't take any more than what she did. Like, I would say that he lost by like 5% in terms of this battle, right? Now, I think this is like the strongest thing that we have for him being some type of sovereign or some type of primordial godlike cryo being. But then we get into his actual design, okay? Or there, I think the captain's a he. I have like a tiny little theory that the captain might be a girl, kind of like a Samus, like a Metroid situation. But if it is a dude, because they refer to him as a he has these like dragon scales on his arms, and then he has dragon scales on his coat. Why does this dude have dragon scales on him if he's not a dragon? Like what's going on with that? Granted, Neuvillette didn't have dragon scales all over him, but his attire, his eyes, you know, there's things about him that once you found out that he's the Cryo or the Hydro Dragon that many people speculated about, you're like, oh, yeah, I see it now. I feel like this is the same situation with him. Granted, in his like non-coded version, like, he still keeps the scaled gauntlets. He doesn't have the scaled robe anymore because, you know, he throws it off of himself. But, like, I just feel like there's no other reason to have these, like, scaling dragon-like features if you're not going to be the freaking dragon sovereign. And plus, like, what is this? What's going on with this? I tried to look up some lore about, like, you know, if there any mention of the Cryo Dragon or anything like that. And from what I found, there is literally no mention of the Cryo Dragon, which is kind of odd because, like, we kind of get mentions of all the other dragons here and there, but we don't get any mention of the Cryo Dragon for some reason. Then I started thinking extra hard. Okay, the captain appears to be something or someone that has been alive for 500 years, because in their fight he talks about how the first Pyro Archon, or the original, whatever, 500 years ago, there was a deal that, hey, we're gonna fix the abyss in Natlan and blah 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 blah, and Captain was kind of sort of there for it, right? And he was there with the Tsaritsa because he knows about her plan and the deal that they made. Okay, had me thinking, what is another race of people or another race of beings that hate Celestia? The dragons, the sovereigns. You know who else hates Celestia? The Tsaritsa. If we remember, the whole entire reason, as of right now, that the Tsaritsa is collecting all these gnosis is because she wants to clap back at Celestia. She wants to get back at heaven, and we don't know why. We don't know why, and we're not going to discuss why, but wouldn't it make sense if she literally gained the aid of another being that hates Celestia as much as she does, i.e. the Dragon Sovereigns? Like, Neuvillette even talks about having a day of reckoning where one day he will take vengeance on Celestia. Like, these dragons have beef with Celestia, and so does the Tsaritsa. So to me, it wouldn't be far-fetched if she befriended and allied the Cryo Dragon, the Cryo Sovereign, let him keep his Gnosis, or like they do like a shared Gnosis power thing going on, kind of like with the Farina and Neuvillette thing, right? And befriends him, allies him. He's the #1 because he's literally the Cryo Dragon. He is literally the strongest. He is Cryo, the element, okay? And that's why he's #1. That's why he's so honorable, because dragons are typically beings that are honorable. If you don't know, the captain is referred to as being very honorable, very humble, always wanting to fight a very strong opponent, only wanting to fight them when they're capable of fighting. Like at the end, spoilers again, at the end of the Natlan quest, Ola, who we think is Ola Run, is like, yo, we should probably go attack the pyro archon right now. She's weak. And he's like, no, like, that's not honorable. We need to wait till she's fully powered up. Blah blah blah. We can do other things in the meantime. Okay, I know I'm schizo talking right now, but I just feel like there's so many things connecting him to the cryo element itself, plus the way he dresses, plus the way that he fights, and plus he's 500 years old. Like, to me, it just kind of makes too much sense. But let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you think the captain is the Cryo Dragon. Again, like, I'm a super big lore guy, but I don't know anything about the Cryo Dragon, because I don't think anyone knows anything about the Cryo Dragon. But who knows? Maybe he's the Cryo Dragon. Or maybe he's just some cool dude with a cryo delusion. I don't know. Anyways, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share only if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.